Hello friends, wish you and your family a very happy and prosperous new year. My name is Shantanupal. Today we will learn about Salesforce Flow. So in this session, this is the course outline we will follow. First we will learn about what is Salesforce Flow. Next we will learn about Flow Builder and how to create a flow. Then we will discuss about what are the user permissions we need to create and manage the flow. Then we will learn about the flow invocation types, how to debug the flows, when to use the flows, and obviously we will discuss about the difference between flow versus workflow, flow versus process builder, and flow versus Apex. At last, we will discuss about flow best practices and some limits we have to remember when we will create the flow. At the end of this session, we will discuss some questionnaire. Now, what is Salesforce Flow? Basically, Salesforce Flow comprises of process builder and flows. So, if anyone can say about Salesforce Flow, that means that person is talking about process builder and flows both. So, then what is flow? The flow is a part of the Salesforce flow which collects data and performs action in Salesforce org or in external system. You can create the business logic in the flow for the external system as well. Definitely, flow is the declarative tool. So following image consists of the flow types. Basically, there are primary two types of flow. One is the screen flow, another one is the auto launch flow. So screen flow is nothing but to take the user inputs from the user and to run the business functionalities. Remaining all other flows we can consider as auto launch flow. Among the auto launch flow, first flow is the record trigger flow. That flow is triggered when the record is created, updated or deleted. You can compare this flow with respect to Apex trigger. Next one is the schedule trigger flow. Definitely, flow is you can schedule the flow with respect to specific time range. Then platform event trigger flow is nothing but when the platform event message is received or when platform event message is occurred, at that point we can trigger the platform event trigger flow. At last, we can discuss about the auto launch flow, about the node trigger. That means when you are calling the flow from process builder or Apex class or REST API or from Lightning Web Component, you can consider this as auto launch flow. Remember, all flow types are auto launch flow except screen flow. Now, what is flow builder? Flow builder is the user interface where we can create the flows. So as we have seen the image here, there are three sections. One is the button bar where you can select the flow UI type. At the left side, the toolbox from where you have to select the elements of the flow, and the right side is the canvas where you have to drag the elements from the left side to right side, and you have to connect all those elements to complete the flow. Now, how to build a flow, or we can say how to create a flow. The navigation path is that you need to go to setup, then flows, then click new flow button. After clicking the new flow button, you have to select the flow type. That means in the first chapter we have discussed about the screen flow or auto launch flow, you have to select. Third one is that you have to select the freeform layout or auto layout. Remember, the auto layout is in beta. Auto layout actually helps you to arrange all those elements in the canvas automatically. And fourth one is that select the elements in the order to complete the flow, or rather we can say that to build the business logic. Then save the flow, run the flow, where if you want you can debug or testing the flow. Then after completion of testing of all possible scenarios, then you can activate the flow for the distribution. Now, what are the user permissions we need? to open, edit or create a flow in Flow Builder, we have to check the checkbox called Manage Flow, and to run the flow, we have to check the checkbox as Run Flows. So both permissions are available in permission set as well as in the profile. Remember, the Run Flows permission is removed from new work starting in the Winter 21 release for the guest user and Experience Cloud external user profiles according to Salesforce. So that's why the best practice is that you have to give the access for the individual flow with respect to the profiles. So you just need to go to the flow screen, and where the all flows are listed. For individual flow, you have to click the edit access button, where you will get that button for the individual flow, and at the screen, at the image, you have to check the checkbox override default behavior and restrict access to enable profiles or permission set. After that, you need to select the available profiles. So for the individual flow, you will get one button called edit access. Now the flow invocation types. Flow invocation types actually what we are trying to say here, from where we can call the flow, or rather we can say how many ways we can call the flow from Salesforce multiple areas. First is the Apex class. From Apex class we can call the flow. From Lightning Web Component also you can invoke the flow. From Aura components, from custom buttons, direct flow URLs, Visualforce page we can invoke the flow. From Process Builder, REST API and Web App also we can invoke the flow. From Process Builder definitely we can call that the auto launch flow. In the Lightning page or Lightning community page, we can place the flow. That flow generally can be screen based flow. And also we can call the Apex method in the Apex class from the flow. However, that method, the annotation of the method should be invocable. How to test the flow or how to debug the flows. So after saving the flow, you will get debug button on that flow builder. So whenever you will click on debug, you have to give certain information as the user input parameter, not user input, the required input parameter of the flow. Then Salesforce will provide the particular debug log of the running flow. In the debug screen, you will get another option called run flow as another user. That is very important. So you can debug the flow on the behalf of another user for testing purpose. So how will you enable this functionality? You just open the process automation settings from setup. Then you will get one checkbox called let admins debug flows as other users. You have to check this checkbox, let admin debug flows as other users. Now, when to use flows? So, when we can use the flow? When we need to build some functionalities on delete operation. So that in Process Builder or in workflow, we cannot write any business logic on the delete operation. Flow can query the records as per your business. It can be related or unrelated. Now, that means let's assume that we are querying the contact records from the flow, and that flow is on contact object. However, we can query the other unrelated object. Let's assume that we can query the records from order object, which is unrelated to the contact. But in Process Builder workflow, you cannot query the records from the unrelated objects. Obviously, we can schedule the flow with respect to the specific time range. Next is that Lightning Runtime supports 2-column flow screens in flow. If you want to enable Lightning Runtime, you just need to go to Process Automation Settings from Setup. Then you have to check the checkbox called Enable Lightning Runtime. Now, the following table, actually I have taken from Trellet. This table is very informative. So that table describes when we have to use the flow. The left side column describes the scenarios, and the right side columns which means which component we have to use for the particular scenario. Now, if the flow should be available to external users, that means we have to use the Lightning community page. If the flow needs the context of a record, that means we have to use Lightning record page or flow action. If we have to display the flow in everywhere in the application, or the flow should be, if the flow should be available from every page, we can place the flow in the utility bar. Next is that the flow, if the flow will be used every time someone accesses a page, we can use the Lightning page. And last one is that if the flow will be used occasionally, you can define the flow action. So for those scenarios, we can use the flows. Remember, if our business functionality is too much complex or the business logic is too much complex, rather than using flow, I would like to recommend use Apex. Now we will focus the difference between flow and workflow rule. So the first one is that we can invoke the Apex class from flow. Definitely the annotation of the method should be invocable in the Apex class. But in workflow rule, it is not possible. That functionalities or that feature is not there in the workflow rule. Flow has many more actions than workflow rule. Workflow rule is limited to few such as update field, create task, send email, and send outbound message. But in flow, you can call the Apex class, you can define the business logic with respect to the business in Apex class. We can build multiple decisions in a flow. So basically in flow, you can define multiple if-else condition block. But in workflow rule, you can make only one decision. In flow, you can create, update and delete the record from the flow. In the workflow rule, only same record update operation is supported. So by workflow rule, you cannot create or you cannot delete the record. In flow, you can create multiple versions of the flow. In workflow rule, actually that feature is not there. It's either active or inactive. But in flow, we can create multiple versions. Now we will learn or we will discuss about the difference between flow versus process builder. So flow can be operated on create, update or delete operation. Process builder can be operated on only create or update operation. Flow can be paused by users, there is no system to pause the process builder. In the screen based flow, as we have discussed, flow can take the user input from the users, but in process builder, the respective logic will always run automatically, or you can define the process builder also with respect to the time frequency. Flow can be executed before or after the record is being saved. We can compare this type of flow, this type of auto launched flow with respect to Apex trigger, but in process builder, that feature is not there because process builder can only be executed after the record is being saved. We can debug the flow before final execution. That functionality is not there in process builder or in workflow rule. Now we will learn about flow versus Apex. So the first point is very easy, that is the flow is part of the regularity process, Apex is the programmatic process. Flow is less complex than Apex, that's why admin or developer can generally build the flow, but Apex needs proper development. For the complex logic, we have to write the Apex, and generally a developer can write the Apex. We can build flow directly in production. That is very interesting. No sandbox is required for the deployment in production instance. However, for the Apex development, we have to write Apex in sandbox. There is no provision to create or edit the Apex class in production environment. That's why sandbox is needed for the deployment of Apex class into production. Now we will see about the flow best practices. So there are many best practices to maintain the flow. I have noted down some of the important points here. The first one is that design and draw the flow adhering Salesforce guideline with respect to the business. That means whenever you will get the business requirement, first you have to think about that to build the logic for the requirement or the development for that requirement. Do you need to go to declarative way or do you need to go with programmatic way? Now, if we need to go to declarative way, then we need to think about, can we use process builder or can we use flow or can we use workflow rule? So for that, think about the requirement, think about the pros and cons of the flow, then you will decide which automation tool you will use. Next thing is that in the flow, do not use hard-coded Salesforce ID, because whenever you will deploy the flow, definitely that ID of the particular metadata will be changed in the production. So please do not use hard-coded ID in flow. Next one is that accumulate all the DML operations at the end of the flow. So please wait to put the create, update or delete element in the flow. First write all the business logic or first draw all the business logic, keep the logic in significant way, so you can put the DML operation at the end of the flow. Need to build error handling mechanism. Till now that error handling mechanism, for that error handling mechanism Salesforce is working on it, but the problem is that whenever you will run the auto launch flow, you will not be able to show the error message to the end user. For the screen based flow you can show, but for the auto launch flow you cannot show. So for that, the best practice is that for now you can create the custom object. So when we will get any error or any exception, you will just create a record in the custom object. You can create the custom object name exceptions from flow. So later you can show all those errors to the end users. Next one is that please control when running users can navigate backward. That is very important topic. Let's assume that you have created a record using create element. After that, user will navigate to another element, another screen component. Then in the screen component, the back button is there. User will click on back button. Then previous create element can be initiated. So that means duplicate record can be created. So whenever you will create the flow, please check the back button, and you can turn on and turn off the back button in any time. Test all possible scenarios before final distribution. That is the best practice. So before final distribution, you have to run all the possible scenarios with respect to the business. Then you have to activate the flow and the flow for the distribution. Last one is very important topic. Avoid accessing external objects after DML operation in a transaction. So if you use DML operation in the flow, after that please do not try to access external objects in a transaction, otherwise you will get the error. Now we learned about the flow limits. So currently a flow can have maximum 50 versions. At a time, one version can be active. In the manage package, if those flows are not the templates, you cannot open the flows in Flow Builder. UTF-8 encoding for the text in the user input field till now is not being supported in the flow. Please do not enter null string in the text field in the Flow Builder. That is very interesting. The next one, if you deploy the active flow by change set, the flow will be inactive in the production. So for that you have to activate the flow post deployment. This is the manual step. In the flows, the transaction limit is almost same as Apex governor limit. So whatever that the transaction limits are in Apex, the same is applicable for flow. And last one is that you cannot filter or sort records by encrypted fields for the following elements and resources. One is the updated records element, delete records element, get records element, record choice, set resource. There are other flow limits also. If you want, please go to Salesforce Help in the particular link. So we have learned basic things of the flow. What is Salesforce flow, how to create the flow, when to use the flow, and what are the difference between flow and process builder, flow and Apex, flow and workflow rule. Also we have covered the best practices and the limits of the flow we have to follow with respect to Salesforce guideline. Now we will discuss about some questionnaires just for knowledge checking purpose. First question is that, can flow respect Salesforce governance limits and sharing model as Apex? Yes. So flow always respect the same governance limit as followed in Apex. Next, how to run the flow on behalf of another user during debugging. You need to go to process automation settings from setup, and that screen you have to check the checkbox called let admin debug flows as another user. Next, can flow run based on logged in user context? Yes, we can run the flow based on logged in user context using run flows permission, as well as you will get the run flow user checkbox on the user detail page. Next question is that if we want to display the flow for every page or everywhere in the application, how will you proceed, or what is the best design if we want to display the flow for every page? We can put the flow in the utility bar. Next, how to create custom flow for field service Lightning Mobile. The answer is by mobile extension, or you can say that app extension. Can we access to individual flow for each profile? Yes, we can give the access to individual flow for each profile. However, you have to remember that checkbox override profiles and permission set to restrict. That checkbox you have to check in the edit access page of the individual flow. That's it. So we have covered all the basic things of the flow. Thank you all for attending this session. Stay healthy and stay safe. You can reach me at my website https www.shantanu@online.com, as well as you can connect with my LinkedIn profile, or in my Twitter. You can reach me my also Gmail account. Please provide the comments in the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel. Have a nice day. Bye.